I've tweaked my local storage example. Let me double check. This was the original demo that I found online. And what you do is you have this color picker that you go in here and you change the color, and you can change the font style, and you can change an image. And then when you go to storage event output, another page, it's supposed to show you the changes that you've actually made. Well, I couldn't figure out how to fix their JavaScript in their page, so what I wound up doing is I wound up using code from Tizen.org, which changed, instead of using the event JavaScript for the event HTML page, which is the second page, this was the initial event page. And if I go to the body, you have this unordered list that's span class my key, span class my old, span class my new, span class my URL, span class my storage. This, by using the event JavaScript, if I go to the event JavaScript file, this window.add event listener was supposed to use those values, but this says class my key equals e key and dot my old dot text content equals e old value. Long story short, this did not work. So I wound up using the Tizen. Let's see. This is the output from Tizen.org that shows how you can create a storage key and value pair. Again, I would create the key as 12 and the value could be, I don't know, bears. Hit save. And so you see under local storage data 12 colon bears and session storage data 12 colon bears. So the 12 would be the key and it's paired up with a value of bears. So let's say you sold toys or something like that and you used a key for each one of your toys. Let's see, one might be, key one might be for, I don't know, bikes. So 12 would stand for bears, 1 would stand for bikes, and however you would have your key value pairs. The local session stays in whatever browser you're doing your work in, even when you go out of it. So if I close out of this entire thing, close out of the entire thing, close out of everything, then go back in, it shows that the local storage still has the two storage key value pairs, 1 bikes and 12 bears. The session storage data, however, has disappeared. Session storage data only stays in the browser's memory as long as the browser's open. When you go to another page, you close out of the browser, then it disappears. Local storage stays here until you clear it, and there's a clear button here. So what I wound up doing is I wound up taking the code that was in this single page right here from Tizen.org, and instead of, if I go back to the local storage demo, when I went to the storage event output page, instead of the elements that are inside this page, I wound up putting these elements in there. So what it wound up giving me was this, which is my version. My version, I made changes, gave myself a little bit of notes in this these paragraphs about Tizen.org, Great page example, storage event output. Here's the storage event output. See, right here, I've put all of that code from Tizen in here, and it's showing that the background color is, currently it's black, which is indicated by all the zeros. The font is Open Sans Condensed Sans Serif. The images are Bales.png. If I go back to the main example page, you can see 000 sans serif and Bales. I also, in my file, let's see, index box, my version web storage is what we're looking at right now. That JS color picker that I downloaded from jscolor.com, I put that whole folder in this folder as well so that I would be able to access the color picker itself instead of just putting in random number letter values. So now I'm able to access this and change the colors of the background however I want. And I also added a couple different kinds of font, and I have my own pages here. So when I hit storage event output now, it's showing my saving, my local storage saved changes. My background color is 87BBFF. My font is Brush Script Standard, Lucida Calligraphy Cursive, and my image is images/fish. I changed this background color in the external CSS style sheet because that bright red was irritating me. So now it's got the default of black. One thing that it doesn't do is whatever I change in this first page, in my landing page, when I go to this secondary page to show my output, it doesn't give that page, it doesn't change that background page as well. So the event output page, the second page, always has this default background color of black. The purpose behind me being interested in this storage was because months and months ago when I first started doing video, I was trying to create a calendar, a bill payment calendar. And the problem I was having was anytime I went to a date on my calendar, which was basically nothing more than a table. It wasn't a calendar control that you can get off of the internet. It was basically a table that I had to manually change every month to represent what a real table would look like. And if I wanted to push a button for a certain bill, let's say electric bill, and I wanted to change that button from red, meaning not paid yet, to green, paid, it was not keeping my state persistent. So as soon as I would go out of my browser page that I created, my web page, and I would go back, it would go back to red unless I went into the source code and manually changed it. Same thing with checkboxes. If I wanted a checkbox to indicate if I had paid something or not, if I closed out of the browser and went back, I lost all my changes. So that's why I'm pretty excited about learning how this whole web storage stuff works, because I will be able to take what I've learned here and go back to that set of files that I was working with the calendar and incorporate that so that that's actually something that functions instead of just having an appearance.